And welcome back to Capitol Review. The Supreme Court is weighing two cases about transgender athletes participating in public school sports. Lawyers presented their arguments this week, and the justices are weighing claims of sex discrimination brought by transgender women against the need for fair and safe competition for women and girls. The main argument the states made: these cases are from Idaho and West Virginia. They're two of the 27 states that have banned transgender athletes from publicly funded girls' and women's sports teams.
As an athlete and a nursing major, it is absurd to suggest that it is fair to put men in women's sports.
We deserve protections just like everybody else, and that there has been a history of discrimination against us that warrants the court to take a closer look.
Zach Schonfeld is the courts and legal reporter for our media partners at The Hill. Zach, welcome back to Capitol Review. Great to see you. For those who support the lifting of the state bans on transgender athletes participating in girls' sports, what is the argument to the Supreme Court for those who want those bans to remain?
Hey, Haley, there's really two separate arguments that the plaintiffs in these cases have raised. The first one is an argument that these bans violate the 14th Amendment's guarantee of equal protection. These plaintiffs argue that these bans amount to unconstitutional sex discrimination. And under decades of Supreme Court precedent, when a state law is drawing lines based on sex, the courts look at that with a closer degree of scrutiny. It has to go through a heightened test. Now, the states that are at the Supreme Court, West Virginia and Idaho, they argue that, yes, their laws do classify based on sex, but they say that it passes that heightened test because this is advancing the government's important interest in protecting competitive fairness in sports. So that's the constitutional argument, an argument of equal protection. They also are bringing claims under Title IX, which is the federal law that protects against sex discrimination in schools. So the bottom line here, Haley, is that this is a case of whether these bans amount to illegal sex discrimination.
Now, it seems like the majority of the justices are siding with keeping the bans in place. Do you see the same signals from what you've heard this week based on their questioning or their comments?
I do. Of course, oral arguments are the time where we see the glimpse into the justices' thinking based on their questions. It was quite a marathon session at the Supreme Court this week, about 3 hours of arguments. And if those questions were any indication, is that the Supreme Court's conservative justices are pretty receptive to these transgender athletes bans, sympathetic to the state's argument that this is permissible because they are advancing that interest in competitive fairness and protecting women's sports. We heard a lot of the conservative justices raising concerns that if these bans are struck down and that transgender girls are allowed to play in women's sports, they raised concerns that it would roll back the decades of progress that we have seen under the roughly 50 years that Title IX has been in place. If you look to someone, for example, like Justice Brett Kavanaugh, someone this issue is near and dear to his heart because for years he has coached his daughter's basketball team here in the D.C. area. And so as you listen to some of the questions from the justices at this argument and you listen to, for example, Justice Kavanaugh talking about all the progress in women's sports, I think you saw a little bit of the fact that he's also known as Coach K coming out a little bit, Haley.
Not the Coach K. We do need to clarify that. Interesting point. Zach, I want to ask you, any other moments that stood out to you? We saw so much fervent language outside of the courthouse, of course, but inside, anything that sticks with you?
Yeah, one other justice in particular stood out to me, and that is Justice Neil Gorsuch, who is President Trump's first appointee to the court, someone who is seen as a pretty conservative justice. But when you look at these cases on LGBTQ rights, he is someone who at times has sided with LGBTQ advocates. If you just go back in time about 5-6 years to a case in 2020, Justice Neil Gorsuch was the one who wrote the Supreme Court's majority opinion saying that a different federal law, the Civil Rights Act, its provision on employment discrimination, that covers discrimination against gender identity and sexual orientation. That was a big win for LGBTQ advocates. So now the question becomes, will Neil Gorsuch side with them again? And as you listen to those arguments, Haley, and you listen to the way Neil Gorsuch was talking as compared to some of those other conservatives, I will say he did seem more open to the arguments that the challengers were making as compared to some of his conservative colleagues. Obviously, we'll have to wait to see for a decision here as to how that turns out, but Justice Gorsuch here is going to be one to watch.
Zach, we're going to be looking out for your reporting following all of these rulings. Zach Schonfeld of The Hill, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thanks for having me.